Philip Crowther picks up our coverage now from Lviv. Philip, always good to see you. So what have you seen recently there in that city that is different than in Kyiv and other places?
Well, it's just simply a very different atmosphere here in Lviv, in the west of Ukraine. You almost get the feeling that there is no war in this country. Of course, this is a whole country at war, and when you look that little bit closer, you do see the effects of it. There are quite a few people who have left this city, who have fled this city. The tourists have gone. There are a lot of visitors to Lviv. Usually, they're not here, but there are a lot of refugees here. Now, the reason why is because this is a bit of a transfer point, if you will, from other parts of the country, from the east of Ukraine, or from the capital city of Kyiv, from the city of Kharkiv, which is being attacked right now, and others. They reach Lviv here in the west and then maybe even stay here for a few days and then move on to get out of this country at war and to get to a more peaceful country, the likes of Poland, for example. We came in from Poland yesterday through one of those border crossings where thousands, tens of thousands of Ukrainians and citizens of other countries have fled over the last 11 days of war. Those are desperate scenes on the borders. And also, by the way, at the train station here in Lviv, one of those places where people are trying desperately to get on those trains to get out of Ukraine.
And the ceasefires have not held up, but Ukraine is still holding its ground. Are you seeing hope building or waning from citizens there and fighters?
I would say it's building right now, but it's very hard to keep that momentum up, of course. What we know from what we've seen ourselves, but also from our colleagues around Ukraine, is that the military here is confident. The militias, if you will, the territorial defense forces, these are essentially civilians who have only just recently, maybe during these last 11 days of war, trained to defend themselves, to use a weapon, to maybe just use Molotov cocktails, all those kinds of things. But all of them together, the military and civilians, seem to be pretty confident and seem to be not necessarily happy, of course, with how things have gone, but are getting that little bit of encouragement from having been able to put the brakes on those Russian advances. We know that Russia was expecting this to go a lot quicker. Russian forces are advancing, there is no doubt about it, but slower than expected. But they are getting awfully close to the capital city of Kyiv, for example, right now.
And we talked about this before. It's not as if the Ukrainians have never experienced war, never experienced aggression from Russia. So they've had about 8 years to sadly prepare for this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a country that has been at war for 8 years, not with the Russian military officially, only with Russian-backed separatists in the Donbass region in the east. This is a country that has lost 14,000 people over the last 8 years. And during the days that I spent in the capital city, Kyiv, before this invasion began, I asked a lot of people why they were so calm when there were all these warnings of an impending invasion coming from the Biden administration. For example, one of the answers they had is that they were simply used to having someone like Vladimir Putin on their borders, that they had seen this before, Russian forces being moved to the borders with Ukraine and then being let go again. Of course, that didn't happen this time around. In fact, a lot of Ukrainians, despite the warnings being right there in front of them, were shocked, as we all were, when the neighboring country of Russia decided to invade Ukraine.
Philip Crowther, excellent reporting. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.